Hi, Saya. This time we're going to do a story for you called Sea Lions. Kind of a funny name, but we'll find out more about them. If you were to come upon a herd of sea lions, they hang out at the beach, you would know it. They're noisy. They lie around and squawk at each other, right? And basically warm up in the sun, but they're never quiet. It's a busy place. A colony of sea lions, they call it. Unfortunately, most people only see them in zoos and aquariums. They balance a ball in their nose like they do in the cartoons. But let's take a look at what they really look like and really behave like in the wild. That's a colony of sea lions. See them all with their heads up in the air. All right, imagine yourself as a baby sea lion on a crowded beach where hundreds of sea lions have gathered. The world is very still, and you have a lot to learn. Suddenly you hear a thunderous growling of two enormous sea lions fighting each other. You got to be careful they don't roll over on you or you'll be crushed. This happens often for the first 5 or 6 months of a little baby's life. Mother baby spends much of their time lying on the beach, and they snuggle. The little one, called a pup, enjoys stretching out on mom's back for an afternoon nap. And that's what a little pup looks like. See the whiskers, nose. They have fins on their feet, which I'll show you in a second. They belong to a group of animals called pinnipeds. Pinniped means fin-footed. They're given this name because they are so effective at swimming with these little fins. There are 3 groups. They have sea lions, fur seals, and eared seals. All other seals are called earless. I don't see ears either way, but both seals and all these pinniped things are related to a walrus. It's got the big teeth. But you see his flippers? Very good swimmers they are. I'm sure we'll see pictures of them in the water. Alrighty. Where they live? North America, here in the States, they're on the west coast, from the cold waters of Alaska all the way down to California and Mexico. Northern sea lions prefer rocky shores, while the California ones like sand or boulder beaches with cliffs behind them. During the fall and winter, the males travel great distances in search of better fishing. The females usually stay close to the breeding grounds, teaching their pups how to take care of themselves. See, in our country, there's North America, and that's way up toward Alaska, and all the way down to California is where they live. And that's what they look like as they start to get older. See him chomping on his mom's fin? They're super swimmers. They're certainly at their best in the water. Every moment is graceful. You can see them on videos, I'm sure. Several thrusts of the flippers, and they go through the water at anywhere from 24 to 32 kilometers. That's 15 to 20 miles an hour. That's pretty as fast as boats. The sea lion has large paddle-like front flippers that are about as long as my arms. And these ones flap up and down. They sort of look like a bird does in the air, but only they're in the water. But they can't breathe underwater, so they have to come up for air. They're not fish. They're mammals, like we are. They breathe air. Sea lions get all their food from the ocean. They enjoy meals of herring and other kinds of fish, like codfish and flounder and greenling. They also eat squid and octopus. They feed mostly at night. They have to move quickly to catch their food, which is also quick. They hold it in their powerful jaws. They don't chew. They just swallow it whole. No chewing. Usually they hunt by themselves or with just a few. But when a school of herrings, that's many, many thousands of fish, many sea lions will join in the feast. Sometimes a sea lion will chase a fish just for fun and then let it go. That's how good they are at it. They seem to enjoy this game. See, this is what they look like at night. They're all getting ready to go into it's getting dark. They're all getting ready to go in. from the rocky beach going into the water. All right, I want to find a picture of. Oh, here's the male. We'll show you how big he is next to a pup. See the big male? They can weigh 2,000 pounds, more than most cars. And there's a little pup. So you can see how easy it would be to get smushed. The average California sea lion is smaller than these guys, about 250 kilograms, 550 pounds, and 2.5 meters or 8 feet long. Females are only about 1/3 that size. They're much smaller. The male or bull are usually brown. The females are usually lighter colored. And they get new coats for old. After a year of climbing on rocks and lying on the beaches, the fur gets very ragged, and it doesn't keep them warm. So each spring, they lie on the beach, and the old fur falls out. They have fur balls everywhere, just like a dog or a kitty does. Lying around and scraping up against the rocks, the fur gets all ragged, and it doesn't keep them warm, especially when they're in the cold water. It's called molting. All right, it's finished. When it finishes, it is a brand new. They're much more shiny, like these ones. They don't look like the other ones did. And they have eyes that they call them underwater eyes. All right, because we're not meant to swim under these conditions. They have large brown eyes with pupils that open so wide it can let a lot more light in. It helps them see into the real depths, because it's hard to see in that water. It's all fuzzy and murky. So it's in effect, they see in the dark, right? But they feel their way around. That's what they have their whiskers for too. This is when they're on land. They can't see completely well at night. Sea dogs. Sea lions are a very noisy animal, especially when they're gathered together. They make a sounds like a growl and a bark sometimes. In fact, the old sailors used to call them sea dogs, because that is what it sounds like sometimes. And when somebody coughs real loud, you might hear Mommy and Daddy say they sound like they're barking, or to get rid of that nasty bark or cough. It means that's how they communicate. It tells males, other males to keep out of one guy's territory. It's how mom finds the baby. It's how baby finds mom. That's their communications. You may have wondered why they call these huge animals sea lions to begin with. They don't look like lions. All you have to do is hear a northern sea lion roar and you'll know. If you close your eyes, you might think you're in a jungle. That's how much the roar sounds like a lion's. See, life on the beach, all right, for young sea lions, all right, they're in the late summer and the early fall where they're really growing up. The newborn doesn't have a cozy nursery. Born right on the beach alongside all the others. And this little one looks much like its mother, except that it's smaller and darker. The pup, as they're called, the babies are about 85 to 100 centimeters, or 33 to 39 inches long. And they weigh about 35 pounds, 16 kilograms. The eyes are wide open, and it has a nice shiny coat of fur. Looks kind of cute, but it looks like it has a black eye. Within a few hours of birth, it already is able to nurse and drink its mommy's milk. Because the milk is so rich, the pup grows quick. All right. Although it will nurse for almost a year, it'll start eating fish, solid food, about 6 months old. The bull will spend most of the time just wandering around the territory trying to keep other men out. And unfortunately, he doesn't pay much attention to his pup. The sea lions, they don't have too much to fear. All right. They play in the ocean. However, there are two enemies that they have. All right. One is no surprise that there is one is a shark, and the other is called a killer whale. In a fight with either of these two animals, even the largest of the sea lions usually can't win. The only chance is to swim or run away and escape. If the sea lion can hide in a bed of underwater seaweed or make it to the beach, it'll be safe. However, you have to be careful because sometimes the killer whales, big whales, can even come on the beach and grab them. So they still have to be careful. How old were you when you took your first swimming lesson? Older than a sea lion for sure. A sea lion starts swimming when it is only about 10 days old. The pup follows the mother into a tide pool, a little part of the beach that's sheltered. All right. The pup becomes he becomes skillful in twisting and turning in the water. Very important lesson. That's how he eats, and that's how he gets away from his enemies. After several weeks in the tide pool, in the shallows, the pup is ready for deeper water, further from shore. It quickly learns to dive below the waves, closing its nose automatically, just like we would, to keep the water out. Young sea lions are very playful. They toss pebbles back and forth, and they chase each other. They even play hide and seek underwater. Since the layer of blubber fat that keeps them warm, is thin when they're young, they can't spend too long in the water. As they get older, the blubber, and that's important for them. Us humans don't like to have a lot of blubber. We don't need it, but they do. By 4 months, most sea lions are expert swimmers and can stay underwater for about 7 minutes. That's a long time. By 6 months, the pup is ready to swim and hunt for fish on his own, although it still stays close to mommy until the following spring. Then it will take its place on the outskirts of the rookery, they call it. That's the big herd, until it's ready to start a family of its own. In the wild, they live about 17 years, and they can have a pup almost every year. The end. So much for sea lions. Love you, honey. We'll talk to you soon.